Yo, what's going on YouTube? This your boy Kamen Zero Spike back again once again, and today people, today we here for Avataro Sentai Donbrothers episode 30. Now this one was a really good episode, man. We got a lot to talk about in this episode. We got the reveals, we got the freaking lore, like we got a lot in this episode, man. And in the first part of this episode we see that the Anohi, the Anohi, which are the grunts of this series, actually talk and actually have like sense and stuff like that. I mean, I kind of knew they always kind of had sense, but we actually saw them talk and things like that in this. And they ended up kidnapping Haruka's aunt. They kidnapped her aunt so that they could get her, basically get the Dawn brothers to help them with the bestials. And we find that we get the reveal that, Morisame, we already knew, but Morisame was created, but the Morisame was created to to be able to destroy the bestials, and he's basically the only one that could do it right now. And they kidnapped her aunt to get the Dawn brothers to help them out. So they ended up to see how Haruka ends up going back to the cafe, and she talks to the rest of everyone, and she tells them what happened. And then one of the one of the customers in the cafe was a Anohi, and he tells them everything, saying, talking about the bestials and things like that. And now the Dawn brothers fully on know who the bestials are, and we find out that the bestials, they disguise themselves as humans, and a majority of them are freaking cats. Like, majority of them are the cat looking bestials. So we see that he tells them, Haruka's peed off because she's like, oh, you kidnapped my aunt, she has nothing to do with it, stuff like that. So, and they promised her that, oh hey, well, she'll be fine, but we need you to get Morisame to help destroy the bestials. So he ends up leaving. It turns out we see that her aunt has been she's being pretty taken care of. Like, literally, they're feeding her. I mean, they still got her tied up or whatever, but they feed her, they massage her, stuff like that. And her aunt is like kind of digging it. She's like, oh, they're all pretty hot, whatever. Like, she's freaking digging it. So we also see that Miho kind of, and he does, and that Anohi gives them a list of all the people who are bestials. So we see that Miho is on that freaking list, and Pink is like, why is she on this list? And we see that Haruka's friend, her like ex-boyfriend, who was her boyfriend, but he's really like codependent on his mom, he's on that list. Well, he's on that list as well. But so they actually go to investigate these Hitoshi basically goes to investigate these bestials, and we see that Haruka is following. I know I think it was Shinosuke or something like that. She's following his mom around, and it turns out his mom is a bestial because she ends up seeing her at the grocery store. She rips open a pack of meat, starts eating it, raw meat, and starts eating it. And we see that Miho is walking around actually trying to find all the bestials, because she is the crane bestial, and she is looking for the other bestials to attack them. We ended up going back to the house that the Anohi are keeping her in, and the bestials actually break into there, and they ended up taking over the house by eating all the Anohi inside there. On top of that, we actually see that Sonoza and Sonoi, they basically say that, hey, maybe we need to team up with the Dawn brothers because of the whole bestials thing, stuff like that. So we see Sonoi, she goes to Tsubasa, Black Ranger. She goes to him, and she basically tells him like, hey, maybe we should team up to take out the bestials, stuff like that, and take out the bestials and things like that, and let your friends know and stuff like that, because, and she tells him that they have Morisame, like they have the Morisame sword form. So he's like, how am I supposed to be able to tell everybody? I don't even know who everybody is. And we ended up Seeing that on top of that, we end up getting a Hitotsuki in this episode as well. Some guy who is really, really loving spicy food, and he ends up transforming into a Hitotsuki, and he transforms. And everybody else is like, oh man, we don't have time for this. We don't have time for this. So the Hitotsuki appears right there where Tsubasa is. Everybody else appears. He ends up telling everybody, stuff like, because I don't think Tsubasa really knows about the bestials and stuff like that. He doesn't know about the bestials, and he doesn't know that much about Murasame, so he's actually kind of confused because he's not in the loop that much like how everybody else is. Like, he's seen Murasame, and he's basically seen the bestials, but he didn't know. He didn't know what the bestials were. He just thought it was some crazy dude, crazy freaking cop guy chasing him around. Crazy monstrous cop guy chasing him around. So we ended up, he ends up telling everybody everything, and they ended up fighting, trying to fight the Hitotsuki, but he ends up getting away. So Haruka's like, screw all that, I'm going to go save my aunt. So she ends up going to the mansion to save her aunt, and while she's on her way there, everybody leaves to go, save her auntie. Following Haruka, we see that Taro gets stopped by Miho, who is the crane bestial, and she tells him that, oh yeah, I'm a bestial too. Bestials, they copy whoever the person that they're copying. If you kill the bestial, that person also dies. So Taro is like, he gets like a kind of like a change of heart, because we see this later on in the episode. But she also says that, get flashbacks of, the Murasame was created by the Dawn Clan. She tells him that Murasame was created by the Dawn Clan to basically be able to destroy the bestials, and he figures out that that's why the ninja sword didn't work, didn't turn him, like, kind of make him go berserk, because they're basically part of the same clan. So that's why it didn't work on him, and also powered him back up. So Haruka gets to the mansion, and she ends up seeing like the bestials all inside of the mansion after they've eaten all the anoi. And we did get a scene where the bestials told, hey, we're gonna beat the main bestial, our cop, this impersonating the cop, that bestial. He comes up, he's actually in the cafe, and he says, bring us Murasame. He's like, bring us Murasame. And he in there, he eats the food that Kaito gives him. Kaito really doesn't have like a reaction, because Kaito, I feel like Kaito will mollywop a lot of these things out here. But he ends up, Kaito ends up, say, hey, you gonna pay the bill? And the dude's like, man, you pay the bill. I'm like, he looks at Taro, he's like, you pay the bill. He walks off. I'm like, yo, you gotta be a jerk. I mean, they are jerks, but like, come on, dog. So they're back at the mansion, and they're fighting. We see that Miho, the crane bestial, they all scream out, the crane is here. So they end up basically fighting Miho, and she's using like the origami cranes to fight them off, stuff like that. And we end up seeing that Haruka takes that opportunity to save her aunt. Her aunt's passed out at this point. She takes the opportunity to save her aunt, and then she gets outside. And then while she's hiding her aunt, we see that the two Cerebrand are there, and we see Sonozai using the Murasame sword, and they're walking in, and then that's when the rest of the other team get there, and they're like, hey, we need to team up because we have to defeat the bestials. We see that Taro comes in, and he's like, hey, we're not doing this, never mind the bestials, let's get out of here, and stuff like that. And then that's when Sonoi, that's when she attacks him, and we end up fighting. Everybody ends up fighting each other, and Haruka's like, what the crap is going on now? What's happening? And then that's when we see the Hitotsuki. He pops up fighting Jiru, and that's when Jiru's fighting him, and Jiru actually takes him out, like solos him. And that's when he transforms. We get our whole mecha battle, stuff like that. And after they ended up defeating him, that's when we saw, earlier we saw that Tsubasa and Pink, they ended up seeing that Miho was there. Tsubasa's staring at her like, that's Natsumi, but Pink is calling her Miho. So we get the reveal finally that they actually get to see. He actually sees this but Miho doesn't see like Tsubasa or anything like that. So he's hugging her. She doesn't remember. She wakes up and doesn't remember anything that happened. And since she doesn't remember, everybody basically ends up getting out of there. But I don't know, because I feel like Tado only did that because he feel like he doesn't want to kill people. Like he doesn't want to kill like actual people, because that's basically what the Sarah brand do when they. Well, that's basically what the Sarah brand do when they defeat a Hitotsuki. Well, we know that person doesn't die, but they get trapped in like that parallel like dimension. You guys remember that? We haven't seen that ever since they showed it that first time when Pink became a Hitotsuki. But yeah, like we don't know what happens to like that person. I mean, she said that person dies, but you know, I guess Tado is like very much against that. So you know, he's very much against that. So I guess he like, that's why he told everybody really to back off and stuff like that. But yeah, man, this episode had in the next episode, we're finally gonna get the reveal finally that everybody knows who Tsubasa is. Everybody knows who Ino brother is now in the next, and it seems like they're gonna fight for Miho / Natsumi, which it's weird, and I'm hoping Tado tells everybody about all the information that he ended up getting. Hopefully, please let him do it. I know the episode's out, but I haven't seen it yet, so I'm hoping that I'm hoping that he actually says something about it. But other than that, man, this episode had a lot, and like this series actually got pretty freaking serious when we got, you know, started to get closer and closer to like the ending of it. But I'm glad that everything is starting to come together. Everybody's starting to know who each other is and what's going on. Everything's just starting to come together and mesh together now, and I'm like, it's about damn time. But other than that, man, do you guys think the Sarah brand or Esty gonna team up with the Don brothers? Do you think Tado is gonna also have a change of heart in some capacity, hopefully? And how do you think what do you think the mystery of the whole Miho Natsumi thing is, and also that ghostly figure that kidnapped Natsumi way back then, who could be the actual big bad at the end of this? And when you guys think that Kaito is going to actually get back into the action, you know, because I feel like Kaito also has something he has saving in the back. It's just my intuition. Haven't seen anything like that, but I'm thinking that, you know, he got something in the back that he's waiting for to use or something like that. But other than that, you guys let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think of Don Brothers episode 30. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you guys next time. Remember, stay Henshined.